Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Valentina and I'm so happy to have you here today. Again, if you're new, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss my videos every single week. And of course, click that like button if you like my content and if you want to support my channel. Today, as you saw in the title, we're going to talk about minimalism and habits that you can include into your routine to have a more minimalist life. Before we start this video, I want to be really clear. I am not and I do not claim to be a minimalist. I would love to. However, since around a year ago, I've been trying to integrate more minimalist practices into my life and into my routine because I do think they're really positive for my life. But I have many areas of my life where I do not consider myself a minimalist and I don't think I will ever be. I'm really working every day towards having a more minimal lifestyle, but I don't think I'll ever be 100% minimalist because I feel like that's putting myself into a little box and I think all extremes are not beneficial for me. So yeah, I just wanted to make that clear before starting with the video. And now let's get started. The first habit that I think you can include into your life or into your daily routine to have a more minimalist lifestyle is a very general rule of minimalism, but I think it is very important to mention and it is a good mindset to have, and it is replacing instead of accumulating. In so many opportunities, we've been in this situation where we buy things we already have just in case we run out of the thing we already have, or if it breaks or if it stops working or whatever it is depending on the item, and we just accumulate a lot of things that we don't really need in the moment. This one's really hard for me because I grew up in a country where you always had to be prepared and have food, like plenty of food in the pantry, because you never knew when there was not going to be any more food in the supermarket. So growing up with that mentality, it was really hard for me to switch that into thinking that I do not need to buy 10 different soaps or 10 extra soap bars just because I may run out of them. And I know sometimes having more replacements for one thing could be useful, so you don't have to go as often to the supermarket or to Costco even, where you buy a lot of big things and you have toilet paper for a year. I think that's okay if you have the storage space for that. But as a general rule, just think that try to replace things that you don't have anymore, that are broken, that don't have a purpose in your life anymore, instead of just buying and buying and buying without thinking if you really need those things in your life. Number 2, and I love this one, it is keeping all surfaces as clean as possible. And I don't mean just clean as in actually clean without dust, which also is a good habit to have because it's more hygienic and your house will be cleaner, obviously, but also keep surfaces with the least amount of objects possible. I do love having things on surfaces, but I try to keep it simple and I try to keep it to the things that either really have value for me, and I try to stick to things that actually have sentimental value to me, or things that I can actually use and that have a purpose and that have a reason to be on that surface. So for example, right now I'm sitting right next to my coffee table, and on top of my coffee table I only have a basket which serves just the purpose of decoration, and it's fine. I really love that little basket/tray, and I have a candle that I lit every single day. Well, not every single day, but pretty often. And I have this little flower vase that I actually got from a roommate that wanted to put it in the trash can, and I was like, no, I'll keep that one, and I love it. And then on the bottom of my coffee table, which is also an open space, I have a coffee table book, just one, that I absolutely love. It is a Harry Potter coffee table book. And then I have my remote, the lighter for the candle, and coasters, and that is pretty much it. And that happens with every single surface. I do like decoration, but I don't think we need to have 100 little tiny objects all around our place, because first, it is going to be harder to clean. Second, when we have clutter, that invites us to have more clutter and to have more objects because it's already messy. So when we have a lot of things in one place, we don't care if we keep adding things. Versus if we have a clean and clear space, we are more conscious of that space and we will avoid cluttering it with things we don't really need. Number 3, ask for things that you actually need. I know here in the US it is very common to ask people what they want for their birthdays, for Christmas, whatever celebration it is. People tend to ask their loved ones what they want. And a lot of the times we make lists, and a lot of the times when they ask us what we want, we tend to make lists of things we might want, but at the end we receive a lot of things that we end up not using or just putting in a drawer or even just donating or recycling. So that this doesn't happen, all we have to do is keep a list with the things we truly want in our lives. It can be things we want or things we really need. We should always have a list for ourselves and also to share with other people of the things we do want and we do need, and that will have a meaning and a purpose in our lives. This one is very important because I know when someone gives you a gift, they do it with all their heart and with the best intention in the world, but we also live in a very material world, so sometimes it is just better to create a list of the things we actually need and will appreciate. And again, not that we don't appreciate other gifts that maybe are not as useful or are not exactly what we needed. Of course we do, and we always have to be grateful for whatever comes into our lives. But if we have the option to give someone a list of options for gifts, let's make it a meaningful one. Number 4, define your style. Once you define your style for all like decoration, clothes, makeup, whatever it is, like things you use on a regular or a daily basis, you will find it a lot easier to have a more minimal life because you will need less things. So for example, if you have this color palette that you like to wear and you know you will stick to your, in my case, neutral colors, you know you will never buy something bright yellow because it won't match the rest of your closet and you will barely wear it. So it will just be another piece in your closet that will be hanging there and that you will rarely use. The same happens with decoration. Just stick with the things you already know you like and with the style that you're trying to achieve, so you don't accumulate things that at the end will not serve a purpose for you and that you will have to again either donate, give away, recycle, or sell. And yes, of course our style will change over the year, but in general I think after our 20s we have a pretty defined personality, and there are certain things that we know we'll like for a long time, and those are the things we have to focus on. Habit number 5 is collecting memories instead of objects. I think with age too, you realize that memories and experiences with the people you love are way more important than objects. I remember being younger and going on vacation and wanting to buy everything from the souvenir stores, either from a museum or the hotel or any touristic place in the world, and I would love to buy all the mini Eiffel Towers or a t-shirt that said I was in Paris or whatever it was. I remember loving that, and looking backwards is those things are not something I keep anymore. Those things are not important in my life anymore. What I do keep are the memories that I live with the people I was with on those trips. And this also applies for like if you're gonna put your money on something, think of an experience that you can put that money into instead of buying an object that might not be as memorable, I guess, as an experience. This one's very important for like, again, gifts and things you want to give to people. I think giving an experience is a lot nicer than buying something, and sometimes I love buying gifts. I think it's the best, and experiences can be a lot more expensive, but if you're trying to do something very special, or if you're trying to give someone special something very unique and that you both can enjoy, definitely go for an experience instead of buying an object that might just end up in a drawer. Again, I'm not saying objects are bad. If you give me a book, I'll be the happiest person on earth. If you give me a candle, I'll be the happiest person on earth. So there are a lot of like gray areas here, at least for me. I'm not like 100% always go for experiences, but I do think it's a good habit to have, or like try to think more about experiences versus objects in general. And number 6, stop buying just because. Stop impulse buying. Stop buying something because it's on sale. Stop buying something because it was a great deal. If you don't need it, do not buy it. That is the general rule, and it really, really works. Lately, when I try to buy something, I always ask myself if I really need that thing. I really ask myself if that's something that I will keep using in the long term, or if it's something I'm just buying because it's a trend, or because I saw it on TikTok, or because this influencer recommended it, but I don't really want it or need it in my life. So just ask yourself those difficult questions before buying anything. And ideally, have a list of all the things you think you want to buy and go back to it after 2-3 days, even a week, and think if you really want that product after all those days. If you do not, it was an impulse buying, so thank God you added it to the list and you can forget about it. And if you still want it, then you can consider buying it. So yeah, those are the habits I wanted to share with you guys today of how to have a more minimal life and how to be more intentional with everything we do on a regular basis. Again, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!